Excuse me. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 9 of the Potty Mouth podcast. I am Greg. I seem to have lost Vinny. Give me a second here, folks. We'll get right into it. We'll be back in a second, I'm sure. All right. What we're going to do today, we're going to review the weekend that was the NFL. We'll get into the big NFL news. There was a head coach firing yesterday, and then we'll head to review the games from Saturday in college football. We're doing a Wednesday review instead of a Tuesday review because Vinny big timed, and he went to the Met game yesterday. So I said, you know what, don't worry about it. We'll do it Wednesday. And he is still going today. And now he is texting me. Where did I go? Where did you go? All right, so he's going to sign in back into the software we're using here, the website. I'm going to get into is the Thursday night game. I'll make this quick because it's Wednesday. Everyone knows what happened. But Buccaneers go to Atlanta, and Baker balls out, but not as much as Kirk Cousins do, over 500 yards. And the Falcons get the overtime win with a late sub. I know I've been got kicked back. So they put in a last minute sub. Here it comes. Oh, wait for Jose was coming in.
Where'd you go?
Hello, boss.
What happened?
I've talked. I know what happened here. A little Wi-Fi issue. I mentioned the Thursday night game, the late sub, Kirk Cousins 500 yards. What does was it the swag surf? Is that what the hell they call it?
He likes the swag surf. He doesn't know what it is, but he likes it.
I have a picture of him doing that right there.
He's a special guy.
He had some struggles early, but he has the team in first place, right? And those for 500 yards, they win in overtime. I was mentioning that Baker balled out, and so did Kirk, but not as much as Kirk. They need to get Bijan going a little more. I know he had a lot of all-purpose yards. They little more out of Bijan, but they have a better quarterback. And a playmaking defense, so they don't need to rely on Bijan like they did last year. So selfishly, I would like Bijan to put up some more stats. But any thoughts on the Thursday night game, which was pretty damn entertaining after all the baseball?
Yeah, no, that was an awesome game. I wasn't what I expected the outcome to be. I actually picked the Bucs to win, thinking that they would come out and I mean, it was. I guess it was what we kind of said. It was a close game. But I didn't expect Cousins to go off like he did. And touching on what you said about Bijan, what's that team going to be if he actually gets like really going? You know, they're dangerous with him just kind of in the role that he's been in, which I'm assuming as you drafted him, you would expect to have a little bit more of a impact on a game. But if he gets going and gets rolling, the team is it's going to be pretty dangerous. And who knows at the deadline if they want to add some pieces, because they'll be in a position to do that, I think.
Yeah, Pitts has been a little up and down. I'm sure fantasy owners would like to see more out of him for obvious reasons. But Mooney's been a nice little surprise, nice addition.
Yeah.
Mooney's been good for them. All right, we'll get to the London game next. Jets go down early. What was it 17-0? Jets lose 17-23 to the Vikings. Vikings stay undefeated. Rodgers throws 3 interceptions. Has he thrown 3 interceptions before?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But I mean, if I was at work, I wasn't watching the game, but I'm like, man, the line is 1. So I thought they were going to go in and score at the end and win, um, wildly. But
I think every Jet fan did, at least. Um,
yeah, but I mean, it was just weird to me because I was just watching it on my phone, so I wasn't like watching the game per se. But it looked like, and like I think we talked about it as again, like he can move the ball sometimes when he wants to, and then there's sometimes where it's like 3 interceptions is unheard of from him.
and they
Nothing
were
that's
bad. They were bad.
common.
They were bad mistakes too. They weren't like tip balls. Like they were bad throws. Rogers played bad. Defense played great in the second half.
Yeah,
They did what they could. Listen, they were all over Jefferson. They got a couple of, I don't know if you saw the plays, couple of BS calls, pass interference on Jefferson, but he's a superstar. He's going to get superstar treatment.
yeah.
Um, there were obvious maulings on Jefferson that were called, but there
Oof.
were two especially that the refs were just kind of giving Jefferson some love. But Vikings stay undefeated. Darnold does enough. He's just solid. And he can make plays. He can throw the bomb against your Niners, or he can survive against a great defense that makes adjustments at the half like he did against the Jets. Again, I'm going to do this quickly because it's Wednesday. Everyone knows what happened by now. Probably game of the year so far. I think the Bengals the Bengals have probably played in both games of the year. One versus Cincy and now
Yeah,
versus Ravens. Tough loss for Joe Burrow and Cincinnati. They lose 41-38 in overtime at home. They contained Henry until the last play of the game. Um, I don't think he had a run over 7 yards until that. What he break a 50 yarder in overtime that set up
yeah, yep.
Tucker for the win. I wish I watched more of that game. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I believe the Mets were on. Right, I believe
Yeah,
the
they
Mets were
were
on. So
playing Philly. Yeah,
I was focused on the Mets playoff game, but yeah, Chase is playing angry. Chase is playing amazing. I think he's closed the gap on Jefferson. I think he's jumped Tyreek. So I would say the Bengals have had a little tough luck and just some poor D at the wrong time. I expect them to bounce back on a run here because the AFC's, other than Kansas City, the AFC is like, what are we doing here? Other than I guess Ravens are hot. But any thoughts on that game or the Ravens or the Bengals in general?
Bengals have been on the wrong side of a few games here where they can easily be on, winners in a couple of these games. I think, the Chiefs game is one. This game's another. Um, the game before Jacksonville. So, I mean, Burrow's been putting up numbers. Chase has
Yeah,
been playing like a man with his hair on fire. Defense did a good job last week against Henry, but they
yeah,
put up a bunch of points on Cincinnati. But I feel bad for the Bengals and the fans because they're so close to being and having a winning record this season as opposed to where they really are. But it's an exciting team to watch. They put up points. I mean, you're getting everything you can imagine even out of T. Higgins too now. I mean, he seems to be part of the game plan, back healthy, but just got to cut down on some of the defensive lapses that they have, because in the really big picture, their defense has given up a lot of points this year, but a team that can put up a lot of points. So just got to be on the right side of the next couple of games. I think they're going to go on a run too. I don't. I still have them making the playoffs. Maybe just
yeah. They'll be the wild card team that absolutely no one wants to play.
exactly, which is good for them. And you want to play with house money, and that's what's going to happen with them. And you're not going to want to play them, like you said. So I think they'll be okay. And I know a few weeks back we were talking about, well, what happens if they lose, and do you trade Higgins and this and that? But I think they probably add, because I think they believe in this team, and I think that they can make some noise. So.
Yeah, I could see that. Burrow, 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards. And then I got to give Lamar a little love. He made some wild, crazy plays on the run and stuff, some good throws. And he got his team the win in a tough place to play. Tough opponent, at least. All right, next game we'll go to is a Bills-Texans matchup, where both teams are kind of maybe going in 2 different directions. Maybe the Texans are finding a groove after a slow start, and maybe the Bills are they've kind of peaked after getting thrashed by the Ravens and now losing on a last second field goal. To me, it was clear that Josh Allen was concussed for the last drive or two of that game, and he couldn't complete a pass after his head bounced off the ground.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yes, I don't know what's going on there. I haven't heard anything about him regarding the Monday game. I'm sure he's going to play, whether his vision is clear or not. He's an old school like that, which isn't the best, especially after everyone's seen the Tua stuff. But yeah, so Bills run into a little bit of a buzzsaw against the Texans after they got completely buzzsawed against the Ravens. So the Bills lose 2 straight. Bills Jets Monday night we'll get into later in the week. That's going to be for first place now. Surprising to say. Keon Coleman with a big touchdown. Nico Collins played great up until his injury. I know he left the game. Stroud looked. I don't know. I don't remember his stat line, but he looked good. He looked better than the first few weeks. Any thoughts on Bills Texans?
Man, different team now. It seems like from how they started off, the Bills. Now, this is two road games in a row. Did they play at Baltimore? Or did Baltimore come to Buffalo?
This could be 3 in a row. Yeah, I think
Jacksonville. So I mean,
Monday. I think Monday could be the 3rd. I'm gonna look. Yeah, go on. Let me look at that.
Texans defense played probably the best game they played all year against a very good Bills offense. It looked like Allen was hurt and really wasn't himself after he did get smashed to the ground. Stroud to Nico Collins, and then Nico got hurt, like you said. Now he's on the IR, so he's not playing for the next few weeks. But, just really kind of did a great job, Texans on defense, and held their own. And really grounded, I think Cook again. Once I said last week that when he goes, they go. And a team I think that can really benefit from another receiver. I think we spoke about that also, the Bills. But no, it's a good win for the Texans at home. Bills have been a little bit unraveling since that Ravens game, and coming up again in another tough team this week. So
yeah, so
see what they can do.
Bills go to Baltimore, lose 35-10. Bills go to Houston, lose 23-20. Then this Monday they'll be at MetLife to play the Jets, and then they're home to Tennessee. But down the road, they go to Seattle, they go to Indy, they go to the Rams, they go to the Lions. So they could find themselves
rough stretch.
Yeah. If the road's not going to be kind to them, then the teams they play on the road are definitely the teams they don't want to see.
I would want to see the Lions. I would want to see Seahawks in Seattle. Is going to be rough.
They're going to get the Rams. You'd think a healthy Ram team too at home late. So
yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
Speaking of the Rams, we'll get into their division. Your division, Cardinals pull off the upset. I'll let you take this. 24-23 in San Fran. I'll let you speak on that because I did not see much of this game.
I was on the same page as you watching the Mets, which it's baseball season still. And all I know is the Niners had a 13-point lead and absolutely threw it away, literally. Purdy was terrible this game from what I was kind of going back and forth with. He was just made some bad choices, and Mason fumbled at the in the fourth quarter, which kind of, if you would have held on to it. Niners kick a field goal, they win the game, or at least put Arizona in a position to have to run the whole field. But no, Purdy wasn't. It wasn't good, and you're starting to see a little bit of missing McCaffrey. You're missing that dynamic out of the backfield from all the balls he catches. But it
Pause.
was a putrid loss, and should not have lost a 13-point lead to the Cardinals, unfortunately. But we move on this week, and hopefully we can rebound tomorrow night against the Seahawks, which is on a platform that I don't have.
I might be able to help you out with that. But
no, I can. We can do it. I'm just, how I feel about the situation. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Mets are on. Did not see that, but after the Mets were over, there was the weather delay.
Oh yeah.
In Pittsburgh, which helped me being a night owl. I got to see the whole Sunday night game, which was a close, entertaining game, especially late. Landon Roberts, I believe is the linebacker's name, made like the defensive play of the year so far, but it ultimately led to a touchdown. Not that play, but ultimately the Cowboys scored on that drive to win the game. But Landon Roberts, I don't know if you saw it, he dove over and popped the ball out of is it Dowdley? How do you say
the
his
running
name?
back,
Rico?
Dudley or Dodley or
Dodley?
Yeah.
I don't even Dowdley.
I don't know.
Cowboys fans, help me out. But yeah, amazing play, good game. Started real late. Both teams, when they're right, they're fun to watch. Say what you will about bad quarterback play for the Steelers or leaving something to be desired on offense, and say what you will about Cowboys, even depleted, they held that team to 17. They got to win on the road. Yeah. What's up?
No, I didn't think that. I thought if anything, that was probably the best game they played all year. The Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, when Dak balls out, and he puts the ball where it needs to be. Sometimes I don't know what's going on with him and CeeDee Lamb. Might be something to look at down the road, but they both locked up, so they got to figure something out. Unless it's just an in-game passion thing that a lot of people say. But yeah, I thought Dallas looked good and made some plays when they had to. In the late game, the game ended pretty late because it started late.
Yeah.
Have you changed your mind on either team? Do you think Pittsburgh will roll in that division, or you think the Ravens are coming for them? And do you think the Cowboys can challenge the Commanders, not the Eagles, I guess, the Commanders in the East?
So I think the Steelers are, in my opinion, kind of pretenders. I think the Ravens are going to come and take that whole situation. I think there's just so much better of a football team, real quarterback, kind of all around better team, and they've played like it lately too. So I was impressed with the Cowboys, honestly. I didn't watch the game. It was too late for me. I was all jacked up on the Mets loss that night, but
snorting that Mets.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But no, I mean, look, it seems to me, and like I said, I didn't watch the game. It seems like the Steelers the Cowboys controlled the game with possession, I would say, if that made sense.
Yeah, definitely the first half.
I mean, keeping their defense off the field is probably the best thing they can do right now until they get healthy. Am I a believer in the Cowboys? Dak has to perform every week and not get into these childish shouting matches with his teammates.
He didn't. He sat there looking at the tablet.
I know. No, I know, but it shouldn't happen. I mean, it's just more for more people to talk about and doubt them and their relationship. Like
get the optics, the whole optics.
Yeah, thing. It's unnecessary. I mean, you're on primetime TV. You're 3-2 now. And not healthy. Your defense really hasn't performed all year. So be happy with what you got here in this one against what I think is a okay Steelers team. I don't think they're that. I thought 3-1 was,
They're just well coached and that defense is legit.
of course, they're always going to be well coached as long as he's there. The defense is always going to be good as long as he's there. They're all disciplined, but I just thought offensively I'm just curious to know when Najee Harris is he still on the team or not, or
he made a couple. Yeah, they're just not.
Yeah,
they're not your father Steelers. You know, they're not.
No,
they don't
right.
have the Bettis or even the guys who they had. I think it was Parker. Who was they had a Parker running back. He was pretty damn good. Remember his name?
They had a lot of guys that weren't expected to be. They had a lot of good role players in certain situations that always kind of stepped up and performed for them. But now you got big names like Harris. In the last couple of years, he's been like non-existent, which is a real difficult way to have belief in the team if your running game is not there and you're relying on Justin Fields and all. It's different when Roethlisberger would be there and your running game was Parker or whoever you're speaking of, and I'm not sure who it was, but
Parker, right?
just in general though, it's a different dynamic when your quarterback is,
Willie Parker.
Yeah, Willie Parker. But in all fairness to the Steelers, 3-2 at this point, I wouldn't have expected it, to be honest with you, before the season started. So no, I think the Ravens are gonna come for them, and that's conversation's over. I don't think anybody. I told you about the Ravens at the beginning of the season, what I thought about them. So
yeah, I'm a big Mike Tomlin guy. I think he's the best coach in the NFL. Say what you will about your coach, Shanahan over there, LaFleur, O'Connell, McDaniel, down in Miami. Say what you will about the Harbaugh. Say what you will about them, but I'd go with Tomlin over them. What he's done is spectacular. He's a Hall of Famer if he retires.
Yeah, definitely.
2 years ago.
Yep. And what he's done what he did last year was amazing, I thought, and what he's doing this year is another.
I believe this is his 18th year, and he's never had a losing season. He's never had a losing season in the previous 17, and he won't this year. So good on him. And then I'll do a little quick opinion thing, and then we'll get into the big news in the NFL that broke yesterday. Opinion thing. It's time for Cleveland the Benjamin. It's time for Cleveland the bench Benjamin Watson, who works for the SEC Network, and Deshaun Watson, who looks like he should be working for the SEC Network. He is 26th in yards. He is 17th in touchdowns with only 5. He's only thrown 3 picks, so he has been protecting the ball in the air. But he is 31st in QBR with a whopping 21. His completion percent is 60. He doesn't even have 1,000 passing yards. It's doesn't even have 900 passing yards. It's gross. Stefanski said that they're not going to make the move. The team loves Jameis Winston, who is the backup. Jameis Winston, who is hilarious. He's been a starter in this league. He's thrown for 5,000 yards in this league. The team loves him. If you watch the preseason, he was giving all the pump-up speeches, and
he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good. He seems like a great teammate and a good guy to have in that locker room. I think if they want to save their season, I think you got to make that move. I don't know if he's got that horrible contract where his whole contract is guaranteed. It's about $260 million, I believe. I think that's the only reason that he's on the field every week now. I think Stefanski's getting marching orders from above, saying no, like we need this guy to be our guy because of, I think, the salary, which is embarrassing, but with his legal troubles and the accusations that have come out, which are despicable if you read them. Maybe they can get out of that contract and get him out of the league. We'll see. He's just not a starting quarterback, and as a pending Jet fan, we'll get into that next. As a pending Jet fan, I know bad quarterback play. You mean you have to agree, right? It's Jameis time.
Yeah, it's time to go. And unfortunately, the albatross is that contract. And unfortunately, without the legal troubles, that I think they can kind of get their money back. If they don't come through with the latest allegations, I think they're kind of stuck with him and that whole amount of money that they owe him. He's played like I. He looks so bad and so like mentally far gone. Um, not really like part of the like doesn't seem like he even wants to be there. And when you got a guy making that much money who is supposed to be the leader of your whole organization at this point, which I think is embarrassing for Cleveland in general. I don't even think he should be in the league at this point, personally. I think from what happened in the past and all the nonsense and people and that have been involved with, I think it's just a bad look for the whole league in general. But they seem to like that kind of stuff, so they don't shy away from it. But no, it's time for Winston, or I don't know if DTR is on that roster at all still. I hope he is, because he can play too a little bit. But I don't. They're not going anywhere with the way things are going. And Kevin Stefanski won with Joe Flacco last year because he's a real quarterback who really came in and just had to play, didn't have to live up to any expectation other than showing up and throwing the ball and performing. Didn't have to answer questions about off the field stuff or anything like that. So, and you can even see what he's doing again this year in Indianapolis. So, no, I think it's time for a change. I think if they want to, I think their coaching and their leadership on that side is so much more long-term beneficial if Watson goes.
Yeah, DTR is still on the Browns. But and you mentioned Flacco. Joe Burrow is second in, I believe, quarterback rating on the season, only behind Joe Flacco. So maybe Cleveland is
Ageless.
regretting that decision there. All right, let's get to the big news. Broke yesterday. Robert Saleh out as head coach of the New York Jets. I hate Woody Johnson.
He's Fred Wilpon 2.0.
I don't know what he's doing. He's never done this. This is not his MO. So any Jet fan that tells me that this wasn't Aaron Rodgers, you're lost. You don't know what's going on. You haven't paid attention. Saleh, after the London loss, wanted to make a change on offense. He wanted to demote Hackett. Once that happened, what happened? He's out. Clearly, Rodgers, and I know Rodgers on McAfee today. He was on an hour ago. I don't know what he said, but it's all going to be lies. It's all going to be like, oh, I talk, like Robert, and I wish him the best. This is just a clown organization being a fucking clown organization year after year after year. Let me read this for you, Van. Since 2020, and this is courtesy of Benjamin Solak on X, Twitter. Since the 2021 season, Robert Saleh's first season in New York, the Jets defense is first in points per drive, first in EPA per play, third in success rate, despite playing the fourth most snaps over that stretch. And then his opinion, Saleh never solved the QB problem, but man, he delivered on defense. It's not a Robert Saleh problem.
Right.
It's an offensive problem. It's an Aaron Rodgers problem. But the biggest problem in that organization is Woody fucking Johnson. He's a grown-ass man who still goes by Woody. He just got introduced as the ambassador. He hasn't had that role for 3.5 years. So all these London people, you want to say you're all in? You want to say you're all in, then why didn't you have a fucking competent backup last year for Rodgers? You want to say you're all in? Why'd you take the cabinet job and go to London and leave the team and give your little brother, who hired fucking Adam Gase, and he did hire Saleh, but everyone, I think anyone would have hired Saleh. That Niners defense has been great for a decade. It's Woody Johnson. You're the problem. And as long as you're the owner, you're never going to be a serious contender ever again. You held on to Rex too long, and then you fire this guy who would have been coaching for first place in the division this very Monday night. You fire this guy after you keep these other clowns way too long, and I love Rex. You you're a you're a power hungry little meddling weasel, and all you do is hire novice coaches, and it takes an arm and a leg for you to get a fucking veteran quarterback in here when it's way too late. Look at Favre, his body couldn't hold up. Look at Rodgers, his body can't hold up. You don't know what you're doing. You clearly don't take advice, or you take the wrong advice because you don't listen to people when they do give you good advice. Clearly, and it pisses me off, and I'm done. I'm officially back on the Bengal bus. I'd rather watch them struggle at 1-4 than watch your pissant team, and you're going to lose the talent because you're not that cheap. But why would you? Why would Garrett Wilson want to stay? Why would Breece Hall want to stay when it's going to be a rotating shit show at quarterback? Because you want your buddy's nephew, Zach Wilson, to be on this fucking team for way too long. You don't know what you're doing. Get out of the picture, or fucking sell. You're a clown. You're the biggest problem. You're the worst owner in the NFL outside of the Carolina Panthers. And I'm just sick of it. And life's too short to be a Jet fan. And that's my rant. It's sickening. It makes no sense. And listen, Robert Saleh is not Vince Lombardi, but he was good enough to win games, and he was good enough with this talented roster to at least give him a shot with finally a quarterback. And then when the quarterback plays piss poorly, but the defense is showing up week in and week out, he's the fucking scapegoat when it should be Aaron who's held accountable, and it should be Hackett. It just makes no sense. And if you don't think this is Rodgers, you're wrong. You don't know what's going on, and I don't know how you can deal with this owner. And I'm just rambling. So if you have any opinion, say it. Saleh was your defensive coordinator. And go for it.
I usually, in a lot of like these kind of situations, don't agree with you 100%. This is the one that I agree with you 1,000%. As a Met fan, as a New York fan, we've seen this on the other side of baseball, where the Wilpons with ownership and how they handle themselves, bringing guys in that are 5 years too late, can't perform, getting rid of managers. Managers aren't playing, okay? And the managers are coaching the guys that you assembled with your front office in football, in basketball, and the NFL, okay? Like you had said, anybody in their right mind, Robert Saleh, you're going to hire him that year, whoever, wherever, because of what he had done with the Niners and his performance as a coordinator coming off a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is a problem in general. And I don't, and I'm not a Jet fan, and you know, everybody wanted a quarterback. He's the guy now that you're stuck with this year at least. But if you watched football in the last couple of years and what he did to Green Bay and their organization, as far as, am I coming back? Am I not coming back? We'll wait till April or May, or from whenever he's on his vacations and whatever. Like, listen, this was not a Robert Saleh situation. If they beat the Broncos and they beat the Vikings, he doesn't get fired, but their offense is still putrid. I mean, if they kicked the field goal at the end of the Broncos game and won by 2, what a great job by Nathaniel Hackett, and Rodgers really showed up. Rodgers doesn't throw 3 interceptions last week. And by the way, you sent a video to me about that tight end Bates, who couldn't block me.
He looked like he was pulled out of the stands.
How do you expect Hull to run the ball when their guys are in the backfield before Hull takes a step? I mean, this is an offensive problem. This is an offensive situation that's on paper should be a very good offense, that they don't have the right guys pushing the right buttons there. But Robert Saleh is not the problem. Now, this probably should have been done before the season if that was the case, in my opinion, because now...
Yeah, it was Woody Johnson's claiming that this was his choice alone. Bullshit.
But he's never done it before, ever.
He's never done this
Rodgers.
before. And to your point, Woody Johnson personally made the decision to bring back Saleh and Douglas.
Right. So you're bringing back these 2 shitbags, and you're going to get shitbag results. Okay, as far as not Saleh, as far as Hackett, because he's obviously Rodgers' guy, and I heard that they got. I think I was listening to Carton talk about how Woody was on the phone with Rodgers and discussing the Hackett situation as far as the play calling and so on and so forth. I don't care. Your mom can call the plays. My mom can call the plays better than this guy does. He failed as a head coach. I understand the magic that he had in Green Bay with him, and that's all set. That's 10 years ago. That's at age 31, 32, or whatever it is. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
And you're now your coach, who's done an absolutely amazing job at that defense, piss poor quarterback play over the last 3 years.
3
is gonna be the under Saleh, right? I mean,
yeah,
fair.
2.5
or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whoever thought Zach Wilson was a good idea I hope is not in football anymore, because just because he had a pro day with JV guys covering nobody.
No, what is it? Woody's uncle runs JetBlue, probably a billionaire. Sorry, Wilson's uncle is like the CEO of JetBlue,
that's amazing. That's
one of
awesome.
Woody Johnson's boys.
Great.
He's on the team.
Stunk. And he's not even on. He's not even whatever. It's a bad situation. Bengal bus is a good bus to be on.
I'm a Bengal. Listen,
Yeah.
LSU over the Jets anyway.
Any day.
I'm just done. You're a clown show. Life's too short to be a Mets, Jets, Islander fan, and now the Bulls are a mess.
Bulls fan.
So I just can't. I can't. If I was a Knick fan, I'd be hanging from a ceiling fan. Anyway, all right, I'm done with that. Woody Johnson, you're the problem, and I don't like saying those words. Like, you're toxic. I won't say the C word. You're fucking toxic, and you need to look in the mirror and get the fuck out of the way. Because you should be losing fans. You should be losing season ticket holders. You should be losing money with how you run that team. And I hope nothing but the worst for you. All right,
you know what's going to happen this week? You know what's going to happen this week?
They're going
to beat the Bills.
No, you know, and they're going to. I don't believe in anyone over there right now. I think Douglas has made good picks. I don't believe in anyone running anything over there. They're going to lose that defensive coordinator who's now the interim coach. They're going to lose him too, and he's fucking good.
Former Niner.
And he's never been a head coach, and thank God that. But here's the thing: once Woody makes that move, all right, 2 more things. So he makes that move, right? He has a guy, and I'm happy he didn't do this, but he didn't even pick Hackett to be the interim head coach, who's had head coaching experience. He goes with Ulbrich because he's a power-hungry little fucking weasel. And then I was watching. I had ESPN on real quick, and Mike Tannenbaum, who worked under Woody, had a list of possible guys that the Jets could hire next year. All novices. They would be all first-time head coaches, because he fucking knows. Yeah, it was like Ben Johnson from the Lions and other people. He fucking knows that one Woody and Dolan are the reason that Belichick left.
Pull the strings, yeah.
Woody and Dolan are the reason that Belichick was like, "Nah, I'm good. It's not going to be Leon. It's not going to be Leon Hess, Mr. Hess, who he loved. Him and Parcells loved. So he hightailed it back to New England. He'll never go offensive too. He went offensive. Well, his brother hired Gase, and that was hilarious. He's just a mess. He's fucking lost. And Aaron Rodgers is stuck in the offense from 20 years ago.
Yeah. Things have changed. Games evolved.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, I'm done. I'm done.
Let's talk college football.
Let's go Bengals. College football. What a fucking weekend. Number 1, number 4, number 1, number 4, number 9, number 10, and 11 all lose, and number 8 was on the ropes. We'll get to them. These were last week's rankings. Miami was 8. So number 1, Bama goes to Vandy, and they lose 40-35.
Wow.
I believe Vanderbilt was 0-60 before this game against top 10 teams. And they beat the number 1 team at home. Pavia and all these New Mexico transfers, Diego Pavia, whatever.
We talked about him.
Yeah, we talked about him. We mentioned him. He played well.
Played
Vanderbilt.
Missouri.
Vanderbilt. Week 1, I was with you. They knock off Vatek in like the only upset in the first weekend, and it goes to show that Vandy maybe has something. maybe has something going over there to build on. So Vandy knocks off Bama in a hell of a game.
Yep.
I thought Milroe was going to win the Heisman. Maybe not so fast, my friend. So they knock off the upset, and then they parade. I have a picture up. They parade the goalpost through Broadway and throw it 3 miles away into like a river.
Yeah.
Or a lake,
A lot of water. A lot of
whatever
water down
water's
there, I
over
guess.
there.
Yeah.
So things got wild. Good for them. Good for Vandy, the little brother of the SEC for forever. They were the butt of every joke.
Yeah, since Jay Cutler, and I don't even think they were good when he was there, really.
Yeah. So that was fucking wild to see.
That was awesome. I mean, I just don't. And here's what this shit that I don't like about college guys and all this bullshit that goes on with like this game. Like, listen, they just beat Georgia last week, right? The week before that, they were up big, performed. Georgia's good, came back, made it a game. But now the conversation that's brewing, this would never happen under Saban, and these guys are out of control. They're doing backflips and they're doing this. I mean, this isn't 10 years ago again. This is a different world now. Okay, and these kids they're kids too, and
yeah.
what are you gonna blame the head? I mean, this guy's not the guy now all of a sudden because they lost to Vanderbilt. And
yeah, the Feinbaum calls were
it's just a fucking joke.
The Feinbaum calls were pretty hilarious. If you could find that, that sound.
I just think it's so insane to even like the guy, whatever. It's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, well, we won't. Vin's going to the Met game today. I'm jealous, so I'm going to try to get him out of here sooner than later. So we won't go too deep into these games. But all right, number 4.
They were great games.
They were great games. Number 4, Tennessee goes to Arkansas and loses by 5, 19-14. So number 4 goes down. And so the Vols go down. Number 9, Missouri goes to Texas A&M and gets crushed 41-10. Connor Wegman comes back at quarterback for that game. Number 10, Michigan goes all the way to Washington in a rematch of the national championship where both head coaches gone, both quarterbacks gone. So number 10 goes to Washington. This game was fun when Michigan started scoring. It was closer than it kind of looked for a time, but Michigan loses 27-17 at the Huskies. Number 11, USC goes to Minnesota and gets Gopherd. And Lincoln Riley loses another bad game. Lincoln Riley is again the next. He's worse than Bob Stoops. 24-17, Minnesota gets the win over number 11. And then the game, I'll let Vin see we'll see if he was awake for the whole thing. Number 8, Miami goes to Cal, is down 35-10. And then Cam Ward and the Hurricanes have a fourth quarter for the ages where they outgained like a handful of team like Rutgers and shit. Like they outgained in one quarter some games in total with the yards they put up. So Miami wins 39-38 over the Cal Bears. Vin, take it away.
So I was up for half of this game.
Oh,
and
which half? The good half or the bad half?
The bad half. and then I woke up and I looked at my phone and I'm like, no way. Like they were just getting their secondary was getting torched by this kid, who was a Miami kid actually.
Yes.
It was just So the first set, Cal gets the ball in the first set of that, to begin the game, and the Hurricanes the defense just absolutely swarmed them, and then they just opened up the secondary on us. I mean, they were just running them everywhere, and we were just playing catch up, and I went to bed at halftime. I'm like, I'd rather not watch this because I think it's gonna be a disaster. But then I watched the highlights. Cam Ward. I mean, how many more games do people have to watch this kid play and say, oh, guys, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, but obviously
he'll be in New York.
He's in that conversation. I mean, he threw for 400 and almost 40 yards again. And the difference maker in this game, even in the first half that I watched, Mark Fletcher is awesome. And I know he's backing up Martinez. Martinez is their guy. I'm crediting Fletcher for even sticking around because he can be a number one anywhere in the country. He's that good. And they have another freshman back who's another guy who's lights out. But to put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, hold them to 3, um, you know, that's like you had said. They put up some crazy second half numbers. Restrepo had a big catch. He's been amazing for them for years. They always have that guy, that slot guy, that Barrios and him, and that step up for them. But Cam Ward is he's legit. Everybody, I don't know, what everyone was. I mean, he could have went last year. He decided not to. He decided to come here and play, and thank God he did, because Miami wouldn't be where they are without him. So, another good win on the road. The Bears were tough, but in that fourth quarter they held them down.
That was the game day game.
Yeah,
and
that was everything.
Reese Davis did not have a voice for that call. He was talking all day. Yeah. So the Canes, what is their ranking now?
They're 6, and they're off this week, and they go to Louisville next week, and they play at 12 o'clock.
Here we go. All right, so we will dive into the weekend preview again. I think we're going to come at you on Friday. All right, and then real quick, Ole Miss bounces back at South Carolina, and game wasn't close. Ole Miss stomped on them. And Georgia, obviously, too. They go to Auburn, and they have a nice bounce back win. All right, now let's get to the MLB of it all before we end with a little WNBA and a very quick NHL preview. Detroit and Cleveland. Schoolbull gives the Tigers the game they need to even that series. Carpenter gives
bomb.
Hits a bomb of Clase. Clase, I believe, only gave up 5 runs all year, and he gave up 3 on 1 hit. So that was a hell of a moment for the Tigers fans. Game 3 is today. Casey and the Yanks tied 1-1. Rodon is not earning that contract.
He's a clown, that guy. Jesus.
Judge is not earning that contract in the postseason. You have the Judge stats for everyone?
Do they want to hear them?
Yeah, if you're a Yankee fan, you might want to cover your ears, but these are Judge's postseason stats.
You want to hear his postseason stats? I mean, where do you want me to start? His batting average? Is that number 1?
Go for it.
It would define the rest of the stats. He bats .208 in the postseason. Yeah. 208 in the postseason. 27 walks, 25 RBIs, 13 home runs, and 10 of them came in 2017 through 2020.
How many games?
How many games in the postseason? That's a great question, because I think I cut it off.
You have 25 walks. I want to know how many games. Needless to say, Judge struggles when the lights are brightest, which is surprising. But so did Bonds. So did I think Kershaw got the bad rap, but I think because I think it was just Kershaw? The Cardinals. I think it was Cardinals who really just.
I think Kershaw's been really good in the postseason for them.
Yeah, I think it was I think the Cardinals just had his number for multiple.
And the Mets did in that one series when they had him and Greinke and
yes,
that was just another magical run. I mean, somebody threw Nola's numbers at me yesterday off of like however many days rest. And it was a recipe. It was set up for disaster for them yesterday. Those stats were 100% true. So, I mean, he can hit 3 home runs tonight, Judge. And
he won't. But I don't think
that'll happen.
Bobby Witt hits 380 at home.
Love
so
that guy. Now
KC gets some home cooking. Salvador Perez, who is younger than you think, but he feels like he's been in the MLB since he's younger than you think. Sal Perez feels like he's been in the league since like
forever.
Santiago.
Yeah, right. I thought they might have been teammates.
No, I think
Little League or something.
he's younger than you think. You'd be surprised. Padres Dodgers. That series has had everything.
Awesome. I love
Padres up 2-1. It's going to be a bullpen game tonight for the Dodgers, which I do not like up against Cease. I think the Dodgers are done unless Ohtani can be Ohtani. But Freeman rolls his ankle last night on first base, making a play.
Yeah, I saw that.
But Betts,
when I came home, I watched them a little bit when I came home from the Electric City Field last night.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. Betts is breaking out of his multiple postseason slump. He essentially has 2 home runs in the past 2 games. One was robbed by Profar, and the other
Awesome.
was off Profar's glove, which was
Yeah.
just you can't write that stuff.
Crazy, I know.
Betts definitely was. He was at one point, I believe he was 2 for 3 in the game. He might have finished 2 for 4. But Betts is slowly getting out of it. But the guys behind him aren't doing enough. Guys like Muncy and them. And then the Mets. The Mets are up 2-1. Quintana versus Suarez, with Wheeler waiting for Game 5 if the Phillies can prolong the series. So Vin was there yesterday. Was the crowd as loud as it seemed?
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, yeah, from the start, and it's really interesting to be there. And that was my 3rd game all year. Usually, if that was a postseason game on my normal year, that's probably game 12 or 15, really, because that's how many we usually go to. But no, this crowd was, except for the guy sitting next to me who didn't really know anybody on the team, but was electric, man. Winker, obviously the Alonso home run, but I think that the biggest 2 big plays defensively was really what solidified that game. Was obviously Taylor's throw into second to change the dynamic of that.
And then the line out to Iglesias for the double play.
Yeah, double play was huge because he could have been on the ropes there. But I mean, the whole playoff atmosphere is amazing. It's such a different world. Keith Hernandez being out there was amazing for them, and then John Franco got
didn't play. He threw out the
mic.
first pitch. He didn't play.
He didn't play. No, he didn't play. You're right. John Franco got on the mic and got everybody going, and it was just that stadium. I mean, I haven't been there at night in a while, and the way they do things now is it's like a nightclub. It's crazy, but
it's funny. I have not been to a game. I went to a Blue Jay game this year, and I have not gone to a Met game.
But I'm gonna go again tonight. Hopefully they shut it down. I think this will be the first time that they clinch it home since 2000, like Hampton. So no, it's they got to bring energy tonight. I mean, Quintana's got to pitch again like he did Game 3 of that Brewers game, and hopefully he can, and hopefully the bats keep going because they had Nola's number early last night. Good thing for the Mets, the Phillies got into their bullpen. They looked horrible. And the Mets didn't have to get into so much. So
that was a slight advantage for them on paper coming into the series.
They've been bad. Stram's been bad. Alvarado looked like he hasn't pitched in a month last night. But no, it's good for the Mets, and they didn't have to use their bullpen. Stanek pitched great.
I mean, it really looks like
they stuck with him.
It really looks like the only team that had the bye that is likely to advance is going to be Cleveland.
Yeah. Right.
Skubal can't pitch every game.
We'll see what happens today. That's a good matchup today.
Suarez is no pushover, and I feel like they're saving him on purpose. And his numbers in the postseason are phenomenal. His numbers in the regular season this year are phenomenal. So the Mets are not a shoo-in to get in, but we'll see. Alonso with another Oppo home run, his 3rd this postseason, I believe. 3 opposite field home runs. For the polar bear. My only thoughts on the Mets right now, I don't want to see early at bats for Bader, and I don't want to see Buto in a big spot. Other than
Buto
that,
looks like Aaron Hernandez's brother, by the way.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely see that.
Yeah.
All right. Last 2 things before I get Vinny out of here, so he can go watch the Mets in person. I'm jealous. WNBA, the finals are set. Game 1 is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. It is the Sun and the Liberty. The 1 and the 2 seed, I believe. The 1 and the 2 seed. I lied to you. It's the Lynx. It's the Lynx and the Liberty. Sorry, the Lynx just beat the Sun in 5 games. I have the wrong picture up. It is the Lynx and the Liberty. Sorry, it's been wild. It's been wild with the Saleh stuff in the Mets. And I do this.
Saleh's got you jammed up. Woody really has you
it's
jammed
Woody.
up.
I grown man named Woody. Get out of my life. So it is the Lynx in the Liberty Game 1 tomorrow night. Please check it out. I believe the Liberty should get it done a little easily, but the Lynx aren't caught fire during the season. And then because listen, we're approaching an hour. I'm trying to get Vinny out of here. I promised an NHL preview. We don't have a extensive one for you. I'm just going to give you my Stanley Cup matchup, my prediction after the offseason. And by all accounts, the Predators and the Devils, they really won the offseason with the moves they made. Florida got a little weaker, losing some, role guys. I know Washington added some guys. The Oilers added a little scoring, never didn't add it on defense. But here's my Stanley Cup prediction. Just because I don't know, the Avalanche could roll and shut me up, and maybe McDavid gets it done this year. But I'm gonna take the New York Rangers out of the East to play the Dallas Stars out of the West. Dallas is gonna probably have to add a defenseman during the year. But I'm gonna take the Dallas Stars over the New York Rangers in 7 games to lift the Stanley Cup. We can get a little more in depth with that. I do like the veteran moves, Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea, that the Predators made, but we'll see. The West is a beast, and it's very top heavy, obviously, with McDavid and McKinnon out there. And I'm interested to see if the Devils can put their additions in the right spot for them to make a nice run. I think Florida has played a brand of hockey that is just tough to play 3 years in a row and get that far. Maybe they can prove me wrong. Maybe they have more grit and heart than people think. But Florida has been beaten up, and they grind you out. They pin you to the boards and get what they are trying to get.
Yeah,
they play playoff hockey. And they try to do it for 82 games. So yeah, I'm going to go Dallas Stars. Ottinger. I know they lost Pavelski to retirement, but I think they have some young guys coming up. I'm going to take Dallas over New York in 7. Do you have any NHL predictions, thoughts, anything?
I'm going to take Edmonton.
I only asked because we didn't talk prior.
No, so. That's okay.
Okay, I heard Edmonton. Give me it.
Edmonton is going to play. They're going to beat the Devils.
Oh, nice.
They're going to beat the Devils this year. I think the Devils are going to make a run, and they're going to be there in the end this year. I think they're young, they're talented. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to get there. I'm not a Devils fan, but I like them to.
Yeah, they made good moves. They have Hughes and
little coming out party for the Devils.
See what they can do. I'm interested to see my Islanders with a full season of Wah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
See if they can play a nice playoff brand of hockey. I'm interested to see if the Red Wings can slip into the playoffs like they failed to do. And then also Utah, new Utah team with the Utah Hockey Club with great color scheme. Just they got to figure out if they're the Yeti or not, or the Snowmen. They got to do something.
Snowmobilers.
Yeah, I know they're going to pick a name next year. So we'll see.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. I think they're waiting, but they were chanting when they came out and met the crowd, and like the Utah Jazz were there last year. Nice. Or maybe it was the spring. It was the spring. The fan were chanting Yeti.
Karl Malone with that?
Karl Malone, and I know he's some car. He's got some
interesting
car. What am I thinking of? Car shop. What are they called? Help me out here.
Car shop.
What they called? No, like a car lot. He owns them. Whatever the dealership. He owns car dealerships.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's
so
another scumbag.
Then he's like.
Yeah, he's like a child molester. He's weird.
Yeah, good point.
Good guy though.
Maybe he'll start for the Cleveland Browns next year at quarterback. Maybe. All right, so that's all for us. Look out for us on Friday. We'll do an NFL prediction. We'll preview the weekend to come in MLB playoffs, in NCAA football. Maybe we can dive a little more into the hockey if Vin and I choose to do so.
It's a fun time of year coming up. You got playoff baseball is finishing up.
Yeah.
And then you got the start of the NBA, start of college hoops,
We got
NHL.
we got the Liberty about to win their first WNBA championship.
The Liberty, and then you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they do when Lobo has a good series.
Lobo and Witherspoon, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me hit the
Is that
intro
Clarence
here.
Witherspoon's relationship?
Don't believe so. All right, so that was episode 9. Thanks. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you've been listening to us and watching us, thank you. We're trying to build something here, and every little view, every little like, every little comment. So you're a part of this with us. Thank you. Vin, say goodbye to the good people, and let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. OMG. And let's go Grimace.
OMG.